I patiently waited for the signal to cross the street. Autonomous cars whizzed by, sightless people sitting idly. The alley was empty, and for a moment I thought I had imagined the colored man. I didn't trust my vision or the dash of color in this gray world. But halfway into the alley, a door sat propped open, and a face quietly stared from the darkness. I glanced behind me surreptitiously as I approached, and he pulled the door shut behind me. For a fleeting moment I panicked as I was pitched into darkness. Then a light flicked on, and I found myself in a gray room leading to a similarly gray staircase. "Don't tell them you can see," I read on the wall once again. I shuddered. The man was about my age, but his eyes were more youthful and alive than mine had been in the mirror that morning. They had color. He held out a hand that I rudely ignored. "Welcome," he said with a coy smile, shrugging and putting his hand in his pocket. I didn't smile back. I had too many questions, none of which seemed appropriate yet. Part of me felt like he was my savior, but part of me felt I was being dragged into something more sinister than I was comfortable with. There wasn't much other reason to lead someone into an alley and down a staircase. "Come on," he said with a nod. He turned to lead me down the stairs, but I hesitated. "Who are you?" I demanded. "How are you colored? How did you find me? Who is them?" I stayed where I was, tensed, ready to flee. The words all referred to them, but what if sightlessness was saving me from them? He chuckled, turning back toward me. "I'm Adam," he answered with a smile. "I can answer some of your questions where it's safer. Others I don't know the answer to." "How did you find me?" I pressed. He tilted his head at me curiously. "I didn't," he said mysteriously. "You found me." That was absurd. The words were on my wall. He was waiting across the alley. He was looking right at me. "Whatever this is," he waved his hand. "This great blinding, it's loosening its grip. We're finding people like you and me. Some can see again. Some can even see color. Some can even be colored." Each sentence raised more questions than it answered. "You got lucky," he continued. "If you hadn't seen me, you'd still be wandering around not knowing what's going on. I'm a watcher. My job is to find people who can see." He paused, lamenting those who might have sight but lived pretending to be blind. Or worse, those found by them. "Downstairs we have a colorer. He might be able to give you color too." That was all I needed to hear. I nodded and followed him down the stairs through another doorway. I was greeted by a normal-looking room, not gray but normal like before. The walls were painted green, red, and rainbow. A table held a stack of beautiful pictures. People bustled around in conversation, most fully colored. Adam sat me at the table and said he'd be back soon. I thumbed through the pictures, admiring the landscapes and brilliant colors. "Would you like a drink with those?" a voice asked. I glanced up to an old man smiling warmly. "There to help recruits relax," he explained, gesturing to the photographs. They were relaxing. I'd missed the ocean, mountains, and trees more than I realized. "Do you have juice? Orange juice?" I asked hopefully. He laughed boisterously. "We do," he said. "You're not the first to ask for it. It's still orange, you know?" It was. I marveled at the liquid in the glass brought to me. "I see you've met Charles," Adam said when he returned. "He's our resident colorer. If you're refusing to shake his hand, I suggest you don't." Feeling embarrassed, I stood and shook Adam's hand first. I apologized awkwardly, and he waved it off. "Drew," I said, introducing myself. I was a bit overwhelmed and suspicious. "Would you like me to continue from here?"